And this is really where the whole red pill movement thing breaks down, man. Because the red pill movement says, hey, as a man, I want to be everything that I can possibly be. I want to improve myself to the maximum possible potential that I have inside of me. But I want to leave faithfulness, one of the core tenets of being a good man, to the side. I don't want that to be a part of my character. Dude, if you're not faithful as a man, if you're not integrous as a man, you're useless. I don't care how much money you make, how much status you have, how high so.
Now, I wouldn't exactly consider myself red pill, but you know, when you speak so vaguely like that, it leaves so many questions, right? So, if a man isn't faithful to a woman, that makes him a bad person? Huh? Now, don't get me wrong. You may think that I'm trying to justify cheating here, and I'm not. I'm really not. I think that if you are in a relationship and these are the rules and standards that you signed up for, that's what you should do, especially in a committed relationship, right? Because that's what you two agreed to. But you could be a philanthropist, you could save many lives, you could do everything in the world that consider you a good person, but if you cheat, you're a bad person now, you have no integrity. And then he goes on to say, if you're not faithful as a man, you're useless. Huh? I don't think, like, a lot of people think about the things that they say. Let's think about that. You're not faithful as a man, you're useless. Okay, let's see if this useless man is taking care of a woman, paying bills, taking care of her, especially if she doesn't have to work. Is he still useless?
What?
You know, it doesn't make sense. And I think that we need to start thinking and questioning people when they talk. I'm not saying that it's okay for you to cheat and be unfaithful, especially if that's the agreement that you have between you two, right? Because I've seen and I know people who straight up tell women, listen, I do this, I do that, I pay bills, I do that, but, you know, I have other women, and this is what it is. And some women are okay with that. So what do you say to those people? Because there's this narrative that if you don't be faithful, you're a bad person. You're a horrible person. Do you think that we got 9 billion people on this earth through monogamy? Come on now. And even furthermore, what about the multitude of religions and people who practice these religions where having more than one wife is permitted? Are these bad people? People that never even drink a drink of alcohol or smoked a cigarette, let alone anything else? Are these bad people who don't rob, drink, steal, or gamble? Right? Let's think about the things that we say logically. It's a narrow way of thinking, and it's more of a feminine way of thinking, and that's okay, and that's no insult to him. You know, we're raised by women, and a lot of the soy boys who pretend to be perfect, they're never going to be real about any of these topics. And a lot of them are the guys who, you know, when the camera's off, they, yeah, I'm about to get all the bitches with this one. And all men are cheaters, right? But on the Maury Show, 90% of men are not the father. You are not the father! My point is, just question things and just make sure it makes sense. Try not to just accept anything because it sounds like the right thing and it's the quote-unquote narrative. And I'm not saying that the dude is completely wrong, but he damn sure ain't 100% right. So just question shit, you know? Oh, eating indeed. And you know what? I'm going to make my point even more. I'm going to stand on business. Watch this. So, the narrative is, any man who cheats is a bad person, regardless of what he did outside of that. Which I think is like fucking asinine. I think that's pretty obvious. If I go save 12 lives, save 12 lives, 5 babies, feed a group of thousands of people and donate blood and all types of samples, but I cheated on you, I'm a bad person. Well, some people may disagree. Let's take a look at this man. Martin Luther King. Very righteous man, right? You would say so. Fought for our rights. Went down in history as a very great man. We even learned about him in grade school. Did we not? Well, he was a cheater. He was an avid cheater. So much so, the CIA said that this man was a saint compared to Martin Luther King. And by the way, that's Malcolm X, if you didn't know. Okay. So, according to your logic, I guess we have to say that, you know what? All that shit that Martin Luther King did, it doesn't matter. He's a cheater. He's a bad man. Very bad man, because he cheated on, what was it? What's her name? Coretta Scott King? Bad man. Bad man. Here we have Exhibit B. Bill Clinton, our 42nd president. Now, he was also a cheater. Now, would people say that he was a bad person? Maybe some would say yes, maybe some would say no. And wouldn't say he's our worst president. Wouldn't say that. But I would probably like to say yeah. Why? Because some of the accusations outside of him cheating, the things he's been accused of overall as a person, not just one specific thing, and because of that one specific thing, I'm electing to say that he is overall a bad person. Primarily, him being accused of being on that very long list of the people who visited the island of children lovers, so to say. Now here we have Exhibit C. This is Offset. Seems to be a little blocked. This is a little better picture, but Offset, right? Now he is I believe he was married to Cardi B. I'm not sure if they are anymore. But of course, this man has been accused of being a cheater numerous amount of times in his marriage, right? And then, there was that image of the video of Cardi B bawling her tears out, and I think the internet felt really bad for her.
Yo, this motherfucker likes to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. He likes to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl.
And, he cheated on her multiple amount of times. And obviously she's on live and she's crying and she's describing how she feels. And we all feel very bad for her. We do. I mean, some people do. If you saw this clip, I'm not sure if you actually are.
Because I have dated men that were extremely faithful to me.
Were they ugly?
Man, cute, super faithful to me. But it's like a lot of people, when that whole cheating scandal came out, a lot of people say you deserve somebody faithful. But just because somebody like extremely faithful don't make you happy, because
that's true.
the guys that were extremely faithful to me, it just didn't work out. You just need to find somebody that you really in love with and make.
So, is Offset a bad person? It depends who's asking. Maybe Cardi B would say that. I mean, according to that clip I just played, I wouldn't think she'd think he's a bad person. And according to her, she likes cheaters. She likes being cheated on, right? Maybe another woman with a man who doesn't like cheaters and was deceived and cheated on probably would say that man is a bad person. If you ask Offset's kids, is he a bad person? I'm sure they would say no, because he's a good person to them outside of cheating, right? And this is the reason I gave these three people. You have Martin Luther King, somebody who's praised for his righteousness, somebody who turned the other cheek, and didn't proceed with acts of violence. Then we have a president who had a very important job, somebody that was famous for his presidency and the decisions that he's made, whether they were good or not, some being bad, who I would say is a bad person. I've never heard anybody say Martin Luther King's a bad person. Then you have someone in the middle, a musician like Offset, who is, an artist. It's kind of expected of, but then he's kind of in a weird situation. So do we call all of these people bad people? Some would say so, some would say not. My point is that you don't judge a man off a few actions. Just because he cheated doesn't make him a bad person. So what do we say about the 17-year-old or the 16-year-old or the 18-year-old who's in his very young relationship with a girl his same age, or a 20-year-old who made a mistake or who is just young? They're not fully aware. They're not fully mature. Now, do we call this child or this young person, this young adult, a bad person because they cheated? I wouldn't say so. Because what if they never make that mistake again? So now overall, because they cheated, they are judged and deemed to be a bad person. And this is the problem with it. It comes down to morality. If you don't have a reference for morality, you're going to just say whatever you think is right. But it doesn't exactly add up. It's like for the people who say, well, do you think Robin Hood is a bad person? Well, some people would say no. Some people would say yes. He's a fucking thief. I know that. Just because he stole from the rich and gave to the poor, he's still a thief. He's still going to have to answer for that one day. That doesn't make him a good person. Right? If he really, well, I couldn't say, but he could have did it another way. Maybe. But because he stole from the rich, what if those rich people didn't do nothing wrong to him? What if they earned their money the right way and didn't steal, didn't rob? And just like now they're short of a few $100 of food or a cow, whatever the case may be, because this man decided to steal from me and go give to his people. Look, what the fuck did I do to you? Would you say he's a bad person? Probably. Some people, because he stole from me and I did nothing to him. Maybe he's a bad person. The point is, there are rankings, right? And some people call it sins, some people call it bad deeds. There are rankings. And the people who say that it's all the same, it's ignorant. You don't judge the person who stole from a grocery store versus someone who unalived somebody with the same crimes. We don't see it in court. We don't see it in life. It's not talked about in religious books that way. There are rankings for it. So would you call somebody who cheated a bad person overall for one thing that he did? So that one cheating makes him overall a bad person? Absolutely not. And I'm willing to die on that hill. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is a YouTube video. I'm about to upload this on YouTube. Shit, man.